Hey everyone, how are you? Welcome to my third installation of Purge Your Story Time. Today I will be reading an amazing poetess by the name of Anna. Her handle on Instagram is at midnightmusings_RT, and she is an incredible writer. She redid her version of The Raven. She calls it Lenore. That is the name of the piece. And it was a prompt, I do believe. But the way she did it, she made it her own, and it's incredible. And it's one of my, like I said, it's one of my favorite pieces that she's done. And I just hope that my computer behaves and lets me turn the pages properly, because sometimes it does not. Without further ado. Once upon a midnight dreary, in a season bleak and bleary, when creation, ceaseless sleeping, sleeted cerements grievous war, while the winter winds assailing wailed laments for nature ailing, came a mystic stranger hailing from a distant Delphic shore. And the stranger, eyes a-glowing, sought a maiden, nothing more, sought the stranger, soul Lenore. To a chamber in the clearing rode the stranger ever nearing, with the snow moon rising, guiding steel-gray steed swift onward soared. In the chamber stood the maiden, ebon eyes and hair of raven, beauty fair but sorrow laden as her aspect anguish bore. Trapped by threads to isolation, tears ensheathed the shroud she wore, as the caged bird wept Lenore. Next slide. Then the nameless, faceless stranger, with foreknowing of the chamber, eyes a-glowing and all-knowing, knocked upon the chamber door, startled, and with the heart a-beating, like the tympany repeating, asked the maiden, "Who's entreating, entranced my chamber door?" Graciously replied the stranger, "'Tis a friend and no one more. 'Tis a friend, fear not, Lenore." "Sir, my master fast approaches, and with anger he reproaches. Sir, I plead and I beseech thee, leave thee of my chamber door," spoke the maiden, slowly turning, when a vague familiar yearning, as of raging blazes burning deep within her core, thought she of the mystic stranger who, for entrance, did implore, for he spoke of her, Lenore. Chilling, vivid, cryptic visions mired her mind in indecision. Dare she live in endless torture, never living evermore? Hope in flight, dreams long forgotten, as the damned and misbegotten? Dare she take the trail untrodden, dare unlatch the chamber door? Then the maiden, slowly turning, heard the stranger call once more, "Follow, follow, fair Lenore." And the yearning ever burning, while the latchkey trembling turning, for the stranger's eyes a-glowing, outstretched hands towards Lenore. And the maiden heartbeat slowing, fears appeased, at ease now knowing that the stranger there bestowing the repose she long implored. Weary from the ceaseless weeping, longed she for Elysian shores, sought reposed the fair Lenore. On the stallion Xanthos, riding with the maiden peacefully dying, rode the mystic stranger, holding safe the soul of fair Lenore. And the angels sweetly singing, with Elysian bells a-ringing, for the maiden's death was bringing, would be there for evermore. For the maiden death embraced would dwell upon Elysian shores, in the chamber nevermore. And on every midnight dreary, and each winter bleak and bleary, rides a maiden on a stallion, fire and snow the stallion's roar, and her master, ever grieving, in the chamber never leaving, with no visitors. Sorry. I do this sometimes. I cry. And on every midnight dreary, and each winter bleak and bleary, rides a maiden on a stallion, fire and snow the stallion's roar, and her master ever grieving, in the chamber never leaving, with no visitors receiving, save a raven o'er his door. And the raven, ever speaking, perches o'er the chamber door, quoting only nevermore. Whew, I'm sorry. Every time I read the end of that, I cry. Jesus Christ, I thought I could get through that without doing that, but I didn't. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Anna. That was really hard. That was amazing, though. God, you're such an incredible writer. The ending always gets me, as you can see. Jesus, I cannot believe I just cried in my video. Ah, but I do when I read this piece because it was brilliant. She's a brilliant poetess. She's a brilliant writer. She is an incredibly just creative person. For her to turn this into her own version of what, she's a huge fan of Edgar Allan Poe. She says so in the beginning before she even starts writing this. She loves him, and she did this. Um, and I can't get over it. Like, every time I read it, and I've read it a lot, I cry at the end. And I really thought I was going to be able to read it without falling to pieces, but I do it every time. So I am so sorry. But that's it. That was Anna. And that was Midnight Musings _RT on Instagram is her handle. And if you are not following her, you absolutely must. Because every single one of her pieces are this good. She is incredible. And sometimes I need a thesaurus to understand some of her writing. But she is very down to earth and such a humble, sweet human being. Her and I talk on DM quite often. And she is someone who, if we lived like close, her and I talk all the time about, we would be very good friends because we are very good friends. We are very good friends. Who cares if it's long distance, I have lots of very good friends that are long distance and are in this writing community, and I see them as any friend that I get to have coffee or tea with in my kitchen. But she is someone who I really just admire and look up to, and I learn from, because she is absolutely the epitome of what a poetess should and could be, which is why I read her and I admire her, and I suggest that you all do the same. And I can't believe I cried. I'm sorry, Anna. Anyway, thank you so much for logging into my third installation of Purge Your Story Time. I'm going to hopefully not cry the next time I read one of her pieces soon. Anyway, stay blessed, stay healthy, and I cannot wait for my fourth installation of Purge Your Story Time, where I will be doing one of my absolute favorite writers, poets. Yes, it is a gentleman this time, and he is a gentleman. Thank you so much for logging in and listening. I hope you enjoyed it, even my crying. Have a wonderful day. Stay blessed. Stay healthy. See you next time.